Hey guys, in this video we're going to be going from a platinum blonde to more of a blended root. So we're just going to go through and pop in some highlights, but to start we're going to go over a consultation and also do a partial Brazilian blowout in the back part of her hair because it gets so tangled. So if you're interested in that part, keep watching. If not, feel free to fast forward. You can follow me on Instagram at Christy@thecottage.
I do the Kristen S or whatever.
Yeah.
The leave-in
do you like her
conditioner.
products?
I love her products.
That's so good to know because because I've never tried it, but I know I've heard good stuff about it, but and
it's super affordable.
That's the thing. But it's good to know that because a lot of people ask me what can I use that's good at Target or whatever, and I'm always like nothing. So I never know.
I know I never get products other than from beauty supply or just from a hairdresser or something. But I just swear by her leave-in conditioner spray. I use that every time I get out of the shower, and it's the only thing that I've ever put on my hair that you smell it days after. It
really?
Smells really
That's
good.
really good to know because I haven't used it, but I know it's by a hairstylist that created it. So I'm okay. I know I can recommend this.
I think it's $11.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding you. It's lasted me over a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I use that and then a little bit of the light Moroccan oil that supposedly won't stain the blonde hair. And then I got that Paul Mitchell stuff from you, and I just recently started throwing on a little bit of that.
How do you feel about that stuff?
It's good. I mean, I just feel like I needed a little bit more, my hair, I know the season's changing and stuff, a little bit more,
something else to help.
Yeah, and I like that it's clear, too, so it doesn't, tinge the...
That's my favorite one because it's light, it's a very thin serum. There's some that are so thick that you almost feel like it's goopy and then it just makes my hair feel I don't know, just feels gross. So that's my favorite because I can always put it up here too and it doesn't make my hair
I haven't
oily.
ventured up there with it.
Oh, really?
I will try.
The way that I do it is just put
scared.
Just put a few pumps, one or however much that you use, and just focus here and wherever you feel your hair needs it the most, the ends obviously, and then I usually take whatever's left over in my hands and then just rub it in, and then I'll just take that. So it's just a very
light
teeny
and
amount.
Airy. I feel you can hardly feel it, but then I sometimes with that kind of stuff I feel I get carried away.
No, it's if it's now if you're taking it out the pump and going this, then that'd be crazy. But just a little bits left over on your hand should be fine. Okay, so
I mean, whatever you think. If you think we should just stick with what we're doing, I just feel I
want to see how you feel about it, because if you're kind of wanting to have more of a rooty look, but obviously the root shadow kind of fades kind of warmer, but your hair naturally is...
I feel I can see it, and I don't know if that's just me, when you held it up, it's kind of this a little bit of red color.
I think the light's kind of reflecting a little bit warmer, but it's definitely, it has the smallest hint of warmth to it. So, which in comparison
and I know
to your
that's
ashy,
gonna happen. I just felt then it looked almost my color, that, and then the blonde. It's the more blonde. So,
and I think because your hair naturally is very light enough and cool toned that would be a really pretty root shadow in itself, so you might as well work with it. But I can see right in here where your hair is, the texture is a little bit more,
it's coarser,
and it has a little bit more of a curl or frizziness to it. So
it's when I put it up in a ponytail, it's all frizzy like that.
That's
so I
crazy that
it
just
I know.
did that all of a sudden.
And I'm just I don't know, I've literally tried everything that I could think of, sleeping with it in a braid, and not tight, but getting those in there, so they're not
okay. So we'll just do the Brazilian blowout kind of in this area here especially, and see if you notice a difference, if it isn't as tangly, if you don't feel it's messing with your hair, you know what I mean? But so we'll start with the Brazilian blowout, and we'll just do that kind of the section down here. And then
it's right here. I know you can I know it's the curls, but like that section, and then just in here, back in here. And I think it's maybe just that, I don't know if it's that shorter hair mixing with the longer hair or what is going on, but it's just like, it always feels tangled.
Yeah. So, and I feel like maybe, I feel like maybe just snip the ends a little bit, probably.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll go through and start the Brazilian stuff then.
Okay.
So we're gonna go through and start her Brazilian blowout, and I don't know if you caught it, but she's recently had 2 babies in the last 2 years, and so she feels like because of her hormones that, you know, her hair's maybe frazzling up a little bit more, or just, you know, it bunches up and gets a little bit more textured and dreaded in the back. And I know when my hair was longer, the same thing used to happen. So I just explained that could just be having long hair and then it's kind of curly on top of it, and then add the blonde and add just all this extra stuff. So we just thought that the best thing to do would be start going through in this back section with the Brazilian blowout, just because I told her from having such blonde hair that I was kind of worried to go through with the Brazilian. So I just thought it would be best to start in this small little section in the back before we really like go through and do her whole head. Another thing is because the Brazilian blowout has to be at a certain heat, and I know that temperature can be really harsh on blondes. So I just thought it's better to be safe than sorry. Let's just start with this little section and see how her hair feels. How does it go? Does it fry the hair? Does it completely like damage it, discolor it, or whatever? And it didn't. So I feel confident that if she wanted to go through, if she was happy with this, that if she wanted to go through and do her whole head, that we could do it. I'm not going to go into much detail about this part of the service just because I feel like if somebody was interested in being able to do a Brazilian blowout, I really feel like you should do the training for it and get certified, just because there's a lot of information and I don't want to misguide anybody or give not enough information. So I highly recommend, if this is something that you want to add to your services, finding someone that can do the training for you and getting certified that way. Okay, so now that we're done with the Brazilian blowout part of the service, we're going to get into her hair color, which is just going to be doing a partial foil and blending her roots.
Okay, so we just got done doing a Brazilian blowout on just this like back section of my client's hair because it gets so tangly. We've started off like a year ago doing like just kind of blending her roots and brightening her up. But then like in summertime, she just wanted to go for it and like bleach all of her hair out and it was super cute. So she's been like platinum blonde for a while now. Last time we did her hair, we added a shadow root and she just felt like, obviously with color, there's always warmth that's gonna show through. And so she just doesn't like that the root shadow faded to kind of like a, I mean, not much, but just very slightly warm. And her natural level is probably like a level 7 or so. And it's ashy. So I told her, I'm like, well, if you're kind of wanting a root shadow, your natural shade is very pretty and light. So like that could be a root shadow color and it's not gonna fade weird, obviously, because it's your natural color. So we're just gonna go through and do a partial foil. We're just gonna go around her hairline and like kind of foil this way. That way it's more blended. We're just gonna do a partial foil to break up her roots. And especially because she's like, I don't know if we're gonna get shut down. That way it kind of has a softer grow out and we're just kind of seeing what we're gonna do and how she likes it. And if not, then we'll just go back to a solid blonde next time. So that's what we're doing right now.
To start, I'm going to go through and do my hairline foils, and normally when I just do a partial, I usually just go through with 2 or 3 foils on the hairline, but because she previously was such a solid blonde and I want to make sure that I blend her hairline good enough so when she pulls her hair back, she doesn't see like a harsh line of demarcation or anything. I'm going to go through and I'm actually going to do like 3 or 4 foils, just some really soft baby light weaves, so that way she doesn't feel like she has any harsh lines, any harsh streaks, and it will just grow out nice and subtly and blend with her natural roots really nicely. So I can't remember everything that you heard in the consultation or that I explained in the briefing part of the video, but last time we did her hair, we normally go through and do an all over platinum, and however we did go through and do an all over platinum, but we just did a really soft and subtle root shadow, and I used a Paul Mitchell level 8 pearl ash, and just really soft enough to add a soft hint of a shadow, nothing too dark and drastic, but she just wanted something to see if it would grow out a little bit easier. But just like with any color, and this is something that needs to be explained with every client that does these services, is that tone really doesn't last very long unless, no, not even if you're using permanent color. I feel like even permanent color warms up. So something you need to always explain to your clients is when you're doing a root shadow that those colors don't stay ashy for long. I mean, maybe a couple showers, if that, and you have to explain really like the less you wash your hair, the colder the water, the more professional products you use, all of those things, the longer that tone will last. But it's still a limited time no matter how much you really try to use the right products and the right way to take care of it. It still is artificial color. It's going to fade out and it's going to warm up just because that is the largest color molecule. So no matter what you do, just always make sure to explain to your clients that yes, we can do a root shadow if you like your hair to be ashy, but just know over the next week or two that color is going to warm up and you might see more of a brassier band. So just please explain that to your clients, because you don't want them to message you a week later and tell you like, my roots are warm or whatever, because it's not a mistake on your part. It's just that's how color is. So we've explained that to her and she understands that. So this time we're going to go through, and because her hair is naturally very light, I just told her that instead of doing a root shadow, that her hair naturally could be a root shadow. So instead of going through and adding that, we could just go through and softly do some baby lights to break her roots and soften them a little bit. And then her natural hair will be the root shadow that will blend. So instead of having to go through and tap her roots or whatever with a level 8, because that's kind of what her hair naturally is, it will blend really pretty already, and it will just look really nicely, and she won't have to worry about the tone adjusting at all. For her highlights, right on her hairline where her bunny piece would be, we're not going to do it too bold or anything. We still want it to blend really nicely. So we're going to go through and just do like 4 weaves back to back, minimal subsection. And because of the way her hairline is, I like to make sure that I'm doing 2 sections. It's not like where I could just go straight through the mohawk down the center of the head. I like to make sure that sometimes, depending on how the hairline is, if it's better to kind of split the forehead section in half and do either side of the forehead, then that works better, because what you don't want to happen is to not have a connection with the temples to the forehead, and then if they pull their hair back, then they're going to have these kind of like dark sections at the temples. So if their forehead is more kind of like V-shape versus just straight across or U-shape, then sometimes it's better to do like the right side and the left side. That way you can make sure that the foils and highlights extend all the way through the edge of the forehead. And I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does. Okay, now that we're into this part of the service, we're going to go through just the top crown area, and we're going to go through and do some really fine baby lights. We don't want to do a super heavy amount just because we're trying to blend her roots, but we still want it to look a little rooty. So we're just going to do some really soft weaves with minimal subsection. And then, you guys, it looks like I'm literally tearing through her hair. It's because when we did the Brazilian blowout, we have to clarify it but not condition. So to go through her hair was like literally, it was the worst to comb it out. It's the worst to section through every foil. It was the worst, okay? And I know it looks like I'm tearing through her hair. I'm being very cautious. My video was sped up. I promise to the Lord above, I'm not ripping it. I'm being very careful, and you'll see at the end of the video that her hair looks soft like butter, okay? I'm not tearing her hair. Yes, I understand that it looks like it, but no, I'm not. I also want to say that over in this area, because this is where she parts her hair, I'm doing the foils a little bit closer together with minimal subsection. The thing is, we're doing like really fine baby light weaves. So if you do too large of a subsection, depending on where they part their hair, they might not even see that you put any foils in there, because baby lights are so fine and soft and subtle that if you don't do enough in the right spot, then chances are they could completely miss it when they part their hair. So just where she's parting her hair, I'm kind of packing them in, probably like maybe 4 kind of closer to each other. That way, wherever her hair falls, where she parts her hair on that side, I know that I have a good range of coverage. And then when I get beyond that spot, then I'm going to start doing just a little bit larger subsections. I mean, not much, but just enough, because if you do a partial highlight with like no subsections of baby lights, you could be foiling for a million years, because it just takes forever. So just make sure that because you're doing a partial, you don't want to invest like a whole bunch of time. You're really just trying to make sure you get, you know, enough coverage in there and break it up a little bit more. It's more like the maintenance in between as it's kind of slowly growing out. But just make sure wherever they part their hair that you have enough coverage and enough highlights so that they feel happy, like they've got enough brightness in that area. After we finish this side, we're going to go through, oh my God, look at that. I mean, it's just so hard to comb through the hair, but I swear, I told her, if we do a Brazilian blowout, if we decide that this is what you want to do, we need to dedicate a day to this and not with the foil, because Lord knows this was horrible. But I know that they say like you can do the same, the 2 services in the same day. So that's why I was like, whatever, we can just do it. And no, we will not be doing this again. But anyways, we're going to finish doing our foils on the other side, and then we're just going to pop a few in the back, and then we will call it good. And you can see here that this is all we did for her foils, was just a few in the top and in the back section there. Also, I used my Schwarzkopf Blonde Me with 20 volume for lift, and I forgot to put a clip in there before, so I might as well just mention it now. But yes, I use my Schwarzkopf Blonde Me with Olaplex. I was going to use my Blonde Solutions because I really like the lift, but because of doing the Brazilian blowout, we were kind of like running low on time, and it has to process a little bit longer, so I figured I'd just stick with my Schwarzkopf. And I'm using my Fanola No Yellow shampoo to pre-tone.
Okay, so my client just got done processing, and now we're gonna tone her. And so I think I'm gonna tone her. She usually likes to be very icy and very cool toned. So I'm gonna tone her with 10 PA. These are Palmitoyl Demi, 10 PA, 10A, and 9V. And I'm gonna do the majority of the 10PA, the 10A, and then just a teeny little bit of 9V. And then also I'm gonna do like a little drop of rose gold. That way it prevents it from overtoning and grabbing really ashy, and it will just keep it like a really nice bright blonde without looking dull. So we're gonna mix that right now.
And I use the processing solution to go with these toners. She tones for about 7 to 10 minutes at the shampoo bowl after being towel dried. All right, I've had a few people say that they like the blow dry part of the video, so I'm including that in this part of the service. I normally wouldn't include this because I don't want to bore y'all, but because there's a few people that like watching this part, I'm going to throw it in here. And I like using a comb because I feel like I can part and section the hair better when I'm trying to blow dry. I can get in there and really make sure that I'm getting the roots. I hate taking sections when the hair is completely damp and like starting all the way at the base and working the way up. I feel like that is such a waste of time. So this is why I go through and blow dry the way that I do, because I can go in there. I feel like a brush kind of tears the hair too much, and I feel like a comb is a little bit more gentle. So this is how I blow dry the hair. And then also we're going to go through, this is after doing the Brazilian blowout. You can see that it was already kind of nice and smooth. I mean, I know we blow dried it and our hair blow dries kind of straight, but it didn't have hardly any frizz in this back section. It just looks so much healthier and a lot better. So I'm excited to see how she liked having that done. And we're going to go through and just straighten her hair to style it. And she knows not to use high temperature on her hair. Make sure that you're using probably less than 330. You guys, if you don't know this, sometimes the flat irons automatically heat up to like 450. So if you are a blonde, if you're a platinum blonde, if you are an ashy, cool blonde, and your hair goes brassy, it not necessarily could be the toner fading out, but it could be heat damage that you're causing yourself. So make sure that you're keeping the temperature below 330 to be safe. Sometimes you'll notice if you just tap the hair, if the flat iron's too hot, it will literally burn out the toner. It will cause it to go really brassy. It really burns the hair, so you really need to make sure that you're using good protection on your hair and a lower temperature to make sure that you're not fading the toner or damaging the hair or all of the above. And then I know you guys will probably notice, but she does have a little section on the side, like one half of her hair where it's a little bit shorter. And that's because when she had extensions done by somebody like a long time ago, and she literally had to shave the side of her head to like get them out because I think they just knotted so bad. And so when she came to see me, that area was like not even to her shoulders yet, I don't think. So we've been working on growing that part out, and we're not cutting it. We're just letting her hair grow. When her hair is down, because her hair is so thick, it just blends nicely. You can't really tell. So no, it's not breakage. I don't want to hear anybody saying any of that stuff. So I just wanted to address that and explain why.
right, how's it look?
Beautiful.
All right, so you can see here her roots. She still has a little bit of her natural. This just blends so nicely, especially since we just did her roots not that long ago. So this just blends her grow out really softly. I think this is a really good way to transition somebody from doing a platinum blonde if they want to test out going back to highlights and just see how it grows out a little bit easier, less maintenance or whatever. So thank you guys so much for watching. Look at how healthy your hair is. It looks so nice, long, and pretty. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.